Well, I'm going to try to get through this video without becoming animated and upset, but I can't promise you. Okay, so on my way from dropping my Duke off at the vet this morning, I was listening to the radio, and there's a segment that the radio has, and it says TIL, which is things I learned. Okay, so they highlighted that the Titanic that sailed and sank on April 15th, my dog, on April 15th, 1912. They said that people did not believe the survivors' account. Listen to me. The survivors' account of how the ship, before it sank, how it split in half. They said that people did not believe what they had seen with their own eyes for over 70 years. It wasn't until I think 1986 that they went to the bottom, where they went to the wreckage of the site and saw that the ship was in two halves, broken at the hull. So that meant all these elders who had been talking about their first-hand accounts of what actually happened, what they actually experienced, was not believed not only by the masses, but by their own families. So that, it made me think of how so flippant we are when it comes to the accounts of people who are older than you, to include me for those young millennials and zennials, to include those who, the boomers, have stories of things that they not only experienced, but things that they witnessed that their parents shared with them, but how it's dismissed. Does it make you wonder, when you consider the CRT, why there is so much angst over it being learned? When you consider all the whitewashing of historical figures that is going on right now under this administration, when we consider the fact that for the 688, we didn't even know nothing about them until President Obama. It makes you think, well, it makes me think, that when history is wiped away and the people who actually have had the accounts that are sharing with us while they're still here, it is easy for the next generation, when there is no history that's passed on, how people will end up in or are in shackles going forward. Because it's easy to believe, I'll use myself as an example. When you don't have access or things are not passed down, you will begin to think, well, maybe we didn't contribute to anything substantively, even though we know it's not true. So, my point being is this. Everyone is so concerned with superficial stuff. You might want to sit at the feet of the people who are still here. You might want to consider that. Because if what we're seeing now is a prelude to what is yet to come, you might want to make it your personal mission to ensure your children are armed and equipped with the knowledge of the contributions of their people, your family. So when somebody tries to come later down the road and say that you wasn't this, you wasn't that, you can say, oh, that's a lie. You might want to do that. You might want to do it, again, when you consider, again, the Titanic, people who are actually there. And it's so funny. It makes me think. My mom, y'all know, my mom had went back to school at the age of 67, in class with people that's young enough for her children, grandchildren, and in some cases, maybe great-grandchildren. They were talking about the Watts riot and things that were happening there, and the instructor was facilitating the class, and my mom would say, well, no, that's not completely accurate. Why? Because my mother was in Los Angeles during that time and she remembers. So, if you're not going to believe the people that are actually here, but yet you will come onto this internet and you will believe everything that people show you about how lavish their lifestyles are. When all they had back then was word of mouth and newspapers. But you'll believe everything that you see on here. But you will question what's in the history books while they're still available. You better start reading. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Take that with you.